Close your eyes for a moment and remember the last time a door was closed in your face. Not a physical door, but a social one. A cold text. A group that suddenly went silent when you walked in. A partner who looked at you and decided you weren't it. You felt it in your chest, didn't you? A physical ache. A sudden drop in temperature. That is the sting of rejection. But here is the paradox that no one tells you. The very thing you spend your whole life running away from, the fear of being cast out, is actually the only thing that can set you free. You see, we have been conditioned to view rejection as a verdict, a final judgment on our value as a human being. We think that if the world says no, it means we are less than. So, we spend our years performing. We wear masks. We curate our personalities like a museum exhibit, hoping that if we are perfect enough, kind enough, or successful enough, we will never have to feel that cold sting again. But the Dark Rule of Rejection states this: as long as you fear being rejected, you are a slave to the person holding the door. You are giving them the power to dictate your reality. You are living in a prison of what if. This video is not a guide on how to be liked. It is a manual on how to stop caring if you are liked at all. Because once you master the art of being rejected, you gain a level of control that most people will never know. You become dangerous. You become whole. Definition: psychological authority. To understand how to gain control, we must first understand why rejection feels like death. To our ancestors, it was death. In the Paleolithic era, being cast out of the tribe meant you were left to face the elements alone. No warmth, no protection, no survival. Because of this, our brains developed an extreme sensitivity to social exclusion. Modern neuroscience shows that when you are rejected, the Anterior Cingulate Cortex, the same part of the brain that processes physical pain, lights up. Your brain literally cannot tell the difference between a broken heart and a broken leg. This creates a state of hypervigilance. You start scanning for micro-expressions. You become an expert at reading the room, not because you are empathetic, but because you are afraid. There are 3 psychological concepts you must grasp to understand your current cerebral mode. The default mode network, DMN. When you aren't focused on a task, your brain defaults to social scanning. If you have a history of rejection, your DMN is stuck in a loop of, what did I say wrong and why do they hate me? This is the biological root of overthinking. Avoidant versus anxious attachment. If you were rejected by primary caregivers, or if their love was conditional, you developed a fearful avoidant pattern. You want connection, but the moment it feels real, you sabotaging it. You reject others before they can reject you. It's a preemptive strike to protect a fragile ego. Emotional neglect and the fawn. Response: many of us didn't learn to fight or flee. We learned to fawn. We became the nice ones, the helpful ones. We traded our authenticity for a sense of safety, but the cost was our soul. Rejection isn't just an event. It's a structural change in your nervous system. You aren't weak for feeling it. You are biologically wired to fear it. But the Dark Rule suggests that we can rewire this. Emotional cost. Philosophical weight. There is an invisible grief that follows the rejected soul. It is the grief of the life you didn't live because you were too busy trying to be acceptable. Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." Why? Because if you accept yourself, you might find things that the world doesn't like. You might find a truth that makes people uncomfortable. And so, we bury our shadows. We bury our weirdness. We bury our fire. Think about the sheer volume of energy you have spent trying to fit into rooms where you were never meant to be. Like Seneca, the Stoic philosopher noted, "We are in the habit of grieving more over our imaginings than over reality." We suffer more in the anticipation of being rejected than we do in the rejection itself. The Dark Rule teaches us that rejection is actually protection. Every no from someone who doesn't understand you is a yes to your own soul. It is a boundary drawn by the universe. When you are rejected by a toxic group, you aren't losing friends, you are gaining time. When you are rejected by a job that would have crushed your spirit, you aren't losing a career, you are gaining your sanity. But to see this, you must stop being a martyr of approval. You must realize that your need to be good in the eyes of others is actually a form of self-betrayal. As Rilke wrote, you must change your life, not by becoming better for them, but by becoming more real for yourself. Adult patterns unlearning. How does this look in your life today? If you are living under the fear of rejection, you likely see these 6 symptoms. The ghost in the meeting. You have brilliant ideas, but you keep them in your throat. You wait for someone else to say it first so you can agree. You are invisible by choice. Boundary erosion. You say yes when your body is screaming no. You let people take your time, your money, and your energy because the thought of their disappointment feels like a physical weight. The comparison trap. You see others' acceptance on social media and feel a deep sense of alienation. You feel like everyone else was given a manual for life that you missed. Paralyzing perfectionism. You don't start the project, the YouTube channel, or the business because if it's not perfect, it can be criticized, and criticism feels like a total rejection of your existence. Relationship sabotage. You test people. You pull away to see if they'll follow. You create drama to see if they'll stay. You are looking for a rejection-proof love that doesn't exist. Identity diffusion. If someone asks, "What do you want?" you don't know. You've spent so long wanting what others want you to want that your own desire has atrophied. How to gain control. The unlearning process. Gaining control starts with a radical shift in perspective. You must treat rejection like a skill. In sales, they call it go for the no. In life, we must do the same. If you haven't been rejected lately, it means you are playing too small. It means you are living in the safety zone, which is actually the stagnation zone. Control comes when you realize that someone else's opinion of you is just a reflection of their own internal world, their own biases, and their own traumas. It has almost nothing to do with you. When someone rejects you, they are simply saying, "My map of the world doesn't have a place for you." That's okay. You don't need to be on their map. You are the explorer of your own continent. Healing closing. Healing the wound of rejection isn't about becoming tough or cold. It's about becoming softly invincible. It starts with inner child work. That version of you that was left out on the playground, they are still inside you, terrified. You need to go back to them and say, "I see you, I love you, and even if the whole world turns its back, I am staying right here. You are safe with me." Next, you must practice nervous system regulation. When that feeling of rejection hits, don't run. Don't call a friend to vent. Don't scroll your phone. Sit with the pain. Feel the burn in your chest. Breathe into it. Show your brain that you can survive the feeling. Once you realize the feeling won't kill you, it loses its power over you. This is the shadow work. It is integrating the parts of yourself that you were told were too much or not enough. It is realizing that your weirdness is actually your signature. Here is the dark rule, the final secret. The people you admire most, the icons, the rebels, the leaders, are the ones who were rejected the most. They didn't succeed despite being rejected. They succeeded because they were rejected. It forced them to build their own world. It forced them to find their own truth. It forced them to become sovereign. As the saying goes, the stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Your rejection is your initiation. It is the universe stripping away everything that is not you so that you can finally see who you are. The goal is not to be fixed, for you were never broken. The goal is to become whole. To stand in your truth, to speak your no, and to realize that the most important door in the world is the one you open for yourself. If this resonated with your journey, hit the like button and share your story in the comments. We are building a tribe of the unbelonged. Subscribe to join us on the path to sovereignty. Stay sovereign, stay whole.